Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Dad jeans. Dad jeans.
It's weird knowing no one will miss you, isn't it? I feel like that's the theme of being a new dad.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So you are, everyone, listeners, this is Ryan Summers.
Everyone.
One of my favorite humans on the planet. I've been lucky enough to work with him at Digital Kitchen, and before that, we did a little freelance gig together. Or I was freelance, he was staff.
Digital Kitchen, aka the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. I've rearranged so many deck chairs for this guy.
Oh my god, in slow motion. Yeah, we're good, really good at doing that.
Yeah, that was pretty much the entire job for the last 2 years. But making sure that you had the chair that hadn't fallen into the iceberg yet.
Yeah, I almost started playing the violin. I almost did.
You would have been good at that.
Was it heroic? I guess it was heroic that the band played on.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, there was an empty boat somewhere on there they could have taken, so I feel like that was heroic. They chose not to.
That's true.
They chose to shred.
Yeah. Maybe they were enslaved. I don't know. I don't know how it worked on the Titanic.
That's the Jack Black movie I want to see.
Boys.
Rock Titanic.
Exactly.
Blues and D, watch me for the changes and try to keep up.
Yeah. So Ryan Summers had a baby probably a year before the
2
pandemic.
years and change. It's been 2 years and change.
At this point. But like
at this point.
He was new.
Less than a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was still like not crawling stage, like still just like needed absolute help from other humans to exist stage.
Right. And Conan is his name. Am I correct on
Yes.
that?
Conan. William Conan Walbrink Summers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That's
Wait,
fantastic.
his first name is actually William, but you call him Conan?
My first name is actually William Jeffrey.
Oh, I'd never do that.
Oh, says mine.
No one,
by
yeah.
the
It's
way.
that,
Wait, so
learning something new.
So that's a thing in your family?
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, me, Conan, my dad, me, or let's see, it would be Conan, myself, my dad, skipped a generation for a good reason,
Okay.
and then grandfather before that. So there's 4 of us, but over like 5.
Oh, interesting. I know.
We just need 2 more, and he'll be the 7th son.
Yeah, I knew a person named who's that. It's a woman, and her lineage is Dorothy.
And her name is William?
Yes,
Oh, I was hoping it was William.
She
be a very good
comes
story.
from a long line of Dorothys, Dorothy Lees. And
Dorothy
then
Lee. Oh, they keep the same middle name, too.
they do it all. Yeah, they do the whole thing.
That's almost a convention. That's
Yeah.
almost like Comic-Con.
Yeah, I always feel like there's something a little bit vaguely like you're descended from some sort of strange religious tradition if you have something like
Exactly.
that going on.
has to be.
Yeah. What is your where did you come from? How did your
Dude, I don't know.
thing
My
get
family,
started?
I'm literally like clueless to anything beyond my parents and my family. So
Yes.
I feel like that's actually a great opportunity to make something up. But
That's true.
I'll let Conan make it up when he gets of age. When he
Okay.
asks me, I'll be like, you make the call, and that will be canon for everyone.
Yeah. No, you're going to get into an Elizabeth Warren situation. That's the problem.
Oh my God, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You can't.
yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be saying that he's descended from the Cherokee, and you're going to be like, oh.
Well, technically, that is one thing I do know is that I have a picture of it. I did meet my great grandfather who was like full blood Cherokee Indian, which is what
Really?
every white guy of my age does say that, but I do know for a fact
Yeah.
that I did have a sharecropper older family member that was a Cherokee Indian.
Wow.
So,
And you met
yeah,
him.
that's like the white guy cliche of all time, but it's true. So
Well, I'd take it. Jump on it. I mean, it hasn't clearly helped you out in life at all. So,
no, not at all. Not at all. I've never used it at least.
yeah, not yet. But maybe after this podcast, the job offers will come crawling through
Yeah,
the door.
exactly. LinkedIn. I just got a ring from LinkedIn, guys.
Perfect.
Just got 2 messages.
They're listening live in the future. So talk to us about new dad things. I feel like we are so far removed from that. Do you still feel
Yeah.
like a new dad, or have you've been
Yeah, I
through
absolutely
war? You've been through war with your child at this point.
I feel like the pandemic makes you like you feel like you're also like a veteran, but also because you see no one, you've done none of the things that you think of in terms of cliched new dad stuff. There's been
interesting.
You know, like birthday parties, there's like 4 people and you stand 6 feet apart from each other and you just kind of wave.
Right. Right.
But you also have spent probably an order of magnitude more time directly with your child than, any other non-pandemic dad.
Sure.
Like they're 10 feet away at all times for the most part. So that's awesome. But it's also, I don't know if burnout is the right word. Like I've heard people say like pandemic burnout is a thing, but I think dad burnout can also
of course.
be true. Like there's
yeah.
just no breaks, right? There's no breaks. Like
It's relentless.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel even 10 times more for my wife because she's not working right now. She's like at home, so that's her job.
Oh, wow.
And it is like literally relentless for her. But it's funny because we've met a couple other like pandemic parents, and almost to a person, every other dad has been like home for a week when the pandemic started. Like, I'm going to the office,
Right.
So I'm just there with the moms hanging out. It's like, yep, no, what other problems you got? Let's chat.
Can't
I feel
do
like
it.
Roy Kent from Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like get the sweats, watch the TV shows, and just compare notes.
You got to watch your stories.
Yeah,
during
exactly.
the day.
Yeah.
So is Wisconsin pretty like wide open? They didn't buckle down too much, did they?
No, I feel like it's a lot like parts of like LA being surrounded by like Orange County and other places where it's like
Right.
Milwaukee. Chicago is, I feel like, the same way too. Like Milwaukee is like a bastion of like semi-liberal people.
Sure.
So like most of the people around here at least keep their distance or have been. The masks got a little funny, but it feels like they're coming back. But
Yeah.
even that, man, like going to a park has been weird. I don't know how it's been for you guys in LA, but like families in parks are still kind of like looking at each other with the side eye. Like, are you the one?
Sure.
You're the one that doesn't wear the mask? Are you the one who got my kid sick? So
Yeah.
we've had like little bits of interaction, seen some people, but it's not, man, like it's not what you think it is, like, or you thought it was going to be.
Sure.
Like, oh, cool, all these little kids playing and high-fiving, and then you sit, the group of the dads are on one side, the groups and the moms on the other side, and we're talking football, and
Right.
they're talking diapers. Like, none of that stuff has happened. Like,
Sure.
it hasn't been any of that at all.
Right, and you don't have like I'm assuming he's not in daycare or anything.
No,
So
no,
like,
that's where the lines are drawn, man. That's
Yeah.
like the Mason-Dixon line, I think, for most people now.
Sure.
Is like, oh, you have daycare? Good for you. Stay
Right.
away from me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your
Yeah.
child is running around with 12 like screaming, snotty like.
Well, I learned a new
Children all
phrase
day.
that I never heard of before. Has anybody else? I don't even know if this is the right thing. Is there a thing called hand-foot disease or hand-foot
Yes.
something or
Yep.
mouth-ass disease? I
Yep.
don't know what it is, but
foot,
it's
foot and mouth disease or something like that.
foot
yeah.
in mouth.
That's
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
right, yep.
I learned that one for the first time just because like we're not around daycare kids, and I think we were going to go to a birthday party, and the question went around like, oh, who are any daycare kids coming?
Yeah.
And somebody was like, oh, my older son has like foot and mouth disease or whatever, so I didn't bring him here. And it was like an audible gasp worked its way through the room where people are like people are like, if they didn't have masks on, they were slowly putting the mask on over their face. So it's just a weird scene, man. Like there's just like new cliches being written. Like
Totally.
Just you wait for the white staples.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Pinworms. Oh God. Yeah. There are all these weird, like archaic diseases that you find like did not die out when you become a new
Yeah.
father. You're like,
they've just stayed consistent in that little like 2 to 4 year old petri dish that exists perennially
Yeah,
across
exactly.
the world, but it's still like
like scabies.
I think
Like,
that's where
you know.
COVID came from. I think COVID came from babies. Like, can we just start that through like
That's
the
probably true. Yeah.
through the alt right?
You just reminded me. I figured out where COVID came from this week.
Okay. Do
Where?
tell.
The future.
Yeah.
Because I think time travelers created COVID. It makes sense because it's suddenly out of nowhere. We all have to wear masks. I think there is a version of the future where facial recognition software did something so horrible that time travelers came back and created a situation where we all had to wear masks just as the
to avoid-
software
Dude,
was turning.
That's how you reboot. That's how you reboot Terminator. You finally found the way in for Terminator. It's not machines.
Yes.
It's COVID.
It's COVID. Exactly.
I think that's it. I think call up James Cameron, get him off the Avatar set. I think we found a way to make it work.
Amazing. The only person who can defeat COVID is Linda Hamilton. I think.
Exactly.
I think we could all
Exactly.
agree.
And the only person who can make more money off of it than anyone else is James Cameron.
That's amazing. But is there? So what's happening in a 2-year-old's life? Like, are you doing?
Today
potty
was
training?
the most. Oh my God, dude! Today was the most gleefully exhausting day of all time because
Okay.
he literally we've been doing the potty prep. I don't know if this has
Okay.
been a thing for you guys or not, but like
I don't
there are
recall.
like competing theories on how to potty train.
Sure.
Like there's like when they wake up in the morning, you get them in the goddamn potty and you force them there until they take a shit.
Right. Yeah.
There's that weird world, and there's some kind of funny name to it.
Put
And
a
then there's
shoulder
another
in
one
their
where it's like,
stomach.
yeah, there's another one where it's like just put a potty in each room and let them walk around for 3 days with nothing. And if they
Yeah.
shit on themselves, they'll learn over 3 or 4 days that they should just take a poop when
Yeah.
you feel it coming. So it's like a really stressful thing because you have to figure out, well, what kind of kid am I?
Sure.
Am I and we got, dude, this kid, I swear to God, like for having a pandemic, this kid is like pure. He's literally like pure sunlight mixed with adrenaline.
Okay.
He's like the perfect like little boy I've ever like met. We're so lucky. But he literally like, we got him the Elmo Potty book. We got another book where this kid just runs around the diaper trying to take a poop with the diaper on, and then when he finally takes it off, the poop happens. Amazing book.
Yep.
It's like could be a made for TV movie, and we didn't really do much more than that. And then like just the perfect white like baby Bjorn, like ultra expensive baby like potty seat.
Sure.
Comes in from Amazon. He knows it's coming. We've told him like, hey, there's going to be a big box coming soon.
Yeah. Is he
just
excited about this idea?
Stands at the window. Well, normally he thinks he's getting shoes.
Sure.
But
okay.
you know, every time Amazon, UPS, any of them come by, he's like shoes. And now for 2 weeks he was like potty. He knew it was coming.
Yeah.
We took it out. We set it down. He squealed like I've never heard him out of excitement.
In delight.
Literally
Okay.
like yes. Literally took his stuff off and just sat down, peed.
Wow.
Like first time. And then after that, we had him like in his own room and we just put it in there for him to try to get used to it. And he literally has like this cool little bucket.
Yeah.
And he just literally like, we didn't hear him. We didn't see like, you know, the 30-second, like if you don't hear your kid, it's time to go check on him.
Yeah.
3 minutes go by. We don't hear him. We're getting dinner ready. I'm finishing up work. And we just hear him go, Daddy, potty, poop.
Wow.
I'm like, what? I'm like, oh shit, he couldn't make it there. I'm just totally like, oh God.
Right.
I'm running like in slow motion and at light speed at the same time.
Because there's no way he just did it.
No, wait. Turn
Not
the corner
possible.
and he's literally 2 hands in my face. The most beautiful piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. It was so amazing.
Wow.
It was so amazing.
Like
and now
Lion
he's
King
just
style?
like, it was like if Wes Anderson made if Wes Anderson made Boss Baby, like his animated movie, it would be like just perfectly like center cut, everything,
Right.
music like playing, like it was, and
Wow.
it's one of those like so exhausting getting up to it, and it could go sideways any way you
Yeah.
could think of. And so far, fingers crossed, it's just been like, this is like cool. Thank you, kid.
Wow.
Like, I need to like be able to get him into Harvard at some point just for this.
Yeah, so it sounds like you didn't have to do anything.
We just talked to him, man. I feel like I don't know what I'm knocking on everything I got right now because I know it's going to go sideways now. But no, like he's been amazing, man. Like this kid, I think the best way I can describe him is Coldplay is his favorite band.
Okay.
He loves pooping, and his like favorite food is like salmon and rice.
Wow.
Like
Awesome.
I don't know where in the world, like it's definitely not from me. It's like 1,000% all from my wife.
Right.
He's got a huge head of hair. He's always happy. Like I've never seen him like get like super angry. I haven't seen him like hit anybody yet. Like all the stuff you get worried about.
Sure.
He literally runs around saying happy. Like, so I don't know what we got, man. Like this is like
That's
maybe the
awesome.
rest of the world had to turn to like garbage for like this kid to be born.
But here's the thing.
But so far,
Here's the thing. As lovely as your child sounds, you still like, there are times when you're just like, I can't fucking do this anymore.
I mean, yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my wife said it really well. She's like, I have no patience, but I only have patience for him.
Oh yeah.
And that's awesome. That's
Sure.
awesome, except for when you're the dad,
Right.
Because only for him also means.
Oh yeah,
That's
no
not for
patience
you either.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be very mindful all the time that there's a finite resource called patience.
Yeah,
and it's not just me that's running dry. It's also
Yes.
the tag team partner on the other side. So yeah, I think that honestly, like that's the hard part.
Sure.
That's the hard part because it's like you can be like, I don't know if you guys work like 5 shifts a day, but like I really like I've never drank coffee before I had my kid. Literally, I'd never had coffee once, and I have two cups of coffee a day.
Oh,
once
wow.
at first shift and once at fourth shift.
Wow.
And that's probably the hardest part. Is like, I don't think it's necessarily him. It's just the byproduct of like all the stuff that comes with just having a 2-year-old in the pandemic.
Sure.
That gets exhausting.
Because there's no, you do need a little bit of a distance, right? You need to like, to like when my kids were little, like going into the office was recharging the batteries. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It becomes this thing where it's not like, oh God, I have to go to work. You're like, oh, thank God, I get to go to work. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you can come back and you've been somewhere else and you feel like you've accomplished something, and then you come home to your loving family and
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say totally honestly, I did have one moment where I was like, oh man, do you guys ever like get nostalgic for like what it must have been like to be a dad in the 40s or 50s? Like, you ever think about what that'd be like? I never thought about that in my life.
I don't
Seriously?
say it out
All
loud.
the time.
I don't say it out loud, but that was fucking amazing. Our dads had the best life ever.
Our dads. Well, the best prism I can put it through is my wife has this like amazing family down in Texas, and her aunt who's probably I think like in her 60s, raised like I think 2 or 3 kids, and is like the best like craziest grandma of all time. She's like, I want to come up and help your wife, and I want to see the kid. Like when the first like 3 months that he was born. So we were just like, holy crap, yes, please come here, please, because we don't have a lot of family.
Sure.
So she came, and like that was when I was still working at the Titanic, Jeff. And I would come home. I'd come home at like 5:30, and like when you come home and the only person that's there is the person who's been taking care of the kid the whole time. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, can you take your shoes off, and can you get food ready, and then can you like get him to sleep, and I'm just going to sit in a separate room, and like relax. And you're like, okay, cool, I'm still on. Like you know what it's like to like work at a place like we work at. Like you're never not on, right? It's 120%, all the time. So like you maybe get the 20 minutes when you're on the train or you're in your car, right? That's it. So I got home, and then like when my wife's family was there, she was like, oh, do you need anything?
Oh my God.
I was like, what? No, I think I'm okay. No, I don't have a headache. I'm good. No, I'm hydrated. I'm good. She's like, no, you worked all day.
Oh,
why don't you sit down, and how about I get you something to drink? And I was just like, excuse me?
Goddess?
I legitimately was like, are you about to tell me something very bad about my child or my wife?
Yeah.
Like what's going on? And she's like, no, she's like, yeah, I know what it's like for your job. You're like, just sit down, and maybe you want to put something on, and or maybe you just want to like take some time off. If you want to just go take a walk, or if you need to go see a movie, I can take care of everything.
Oh, magic,
and I was just like,
magic.
Could you imagine if every single day? I wouldn't even feel right if every single day was like that.
Oh, totally.
Oh, no.
But I don't. I mean, when you say that, I don't think I've had anyone ask me the question, "Do you need anything?" in probably 10 years.
Oh, certainly not.
Okay, so you guys, this is my big question. This is my big question.
Yeah.
Does it? I hate to say like, does it get better? But does it get better?
It gets better in some ways.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of goodness. It gets different, I mean, we're just dealing with different shit. Like, I will say this, at this age, finally, they don't need us nearly as much. Like Hazel's 10, Eli's 7, and there are times when they will just be doing their own thing. Hazel all the time. Like Hazel just is fine. Eli is a little bit like he's still a little bit needy at age 7.
Right.
So it takes a while, but I feel like not like 8 or 9 is when it starts to like just coast a little bit.
So I have to ask you both too, though. So I feel like there's this huge like mind game with dads though too, or parents now.
Yeah.
But I feel like as a dad that if you're not doing something, then you should be doing something.
Oh, I feel that.
So does that ever go away where you're like, because I always feel like if I'm not in the room, or I'm not at least like in eye shot just to see, then like I've been this whole way, like when I work, when I'm in a relationship, like if everyone else isn't like 100% optimal,
right?
Like I just reflect that back. I'm like, okay, well, there's still work to do, and I never can just be like,
yep.
Okay, there's like a firestorm brewing, but I got to take care of myself. I'm never that person. I'm always just the like masochistic like dude who's like, all right, I'll rest when everybody else is sleeping.
Yeah,
and like that's a very bad cocktail to have as a dad.
Of
I
course.
feel like
because
it doesn't feel like theoretically, when your baby can stand up and walk around, you should be like, oh, cool, like he can take care of himself in his room. It's padded,
right?
Like there's nothing, and I'm literally like I'm taking a shower, and 2 minutes into the shower, I'm like, you know what I should probably do? I should probably go check on him.
Yes. But
I'm in the shower.
That goes away. That definitely goes
Okay.
away. Like I recall that really distinctly where I was just like, I literally can't, like I have to be checking it. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night and just go in and look and be like, oh yeah, they're still breathing. Okay. Thank God. I would do that often.
I mean,
yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of a thing called Montessori?
Yes. Totally.
Okay.
Montessori school. Yeah.
I had never heard of this at all until like my wife about 6 months before my kid was born. She's like, I think I want to like adopt a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is great. Like a lot of it, like the idea about like self-regulated play and like not having a lot of stuff so they can really invest in like a thing. Like you're going to have a ball to play with.
Yeah.
Figure out how to play with the ball, have fun with like that's awesome. That's dope. But the one weird wrinkle to it is that like they don't encourage you to have like a crib or like a bed like that's up. It's like it's literally like a more like Japanese kind of like
Oh yeah.
you have a mattress on like a little thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool when a kid is like old enough to have a bed and you're like, no, we're just going to do this. But man, like when he was really little, we had a bassinet till he was like good enough to be able to like not suffocate himself. Right. But like when he had that and it was so hard to go and switch into like, okay, in his room and he's on this big thing. Like the third night we had it, he rolled over and like thunked his head.
Oof.
Like thunked it. Like you could hear it from 2 rooms over. And like he screams crying. Yeah. And we all run in like bats out of hell into the room and like take care of him. From that night on until like a year later, I was like, I cannot let him sleep alone.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't like he's too little. And like there were definitely like week-long stretches where I was like, I'm gonna just make sure he goes to bed. I'm gonna sleep next to him just to make sure he's okay. Which then turned into like me falling asleep, which then turned into like waking up at 4 a.m, like not being able to stand up. Like that part.
Sure.
I feel like I still have twinges of that. Like I'm just like, oh, I got to back off. But like, this is like, the world's scary, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the anxiety never stops. So what you do, you become more able to white knuckle your way through things, I think. but it doesn't. For me, it has never gone away, and nor has the fire hose of one's own inadequacies that is fatherhood. You know?
Oh my God! Yeah,
it's just the ways that you choose how to fail your child, and they will choose how to be fucked up by that.
Sure.
I feel like What a Wonderful World should just be playing underneath this as like a bed. Just like, you're going to fuck up.
Yeah.
You are going to screw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Irreparably
inevitably there's
fuck
going to
up.
be something.
Sure.
Yeah. You can't. There's too many blind spots, right? There's just too many. You don't see in 360 view. Like there's
Absolutely.
no way.
By
Totally.
the nature of being a human being, you are fucking up your child royally.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think like by the
That's encouraging, guys. Thanks. Okay, great. I feel much
think-
better about myself now.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the plus side, like you can't avoid it. We're all in the same fucked up
Yeah, yeah.
situation, you know. But like, I feel like definitely, especially having the second one, the like theory started to just disappear. You know, after a while, I was just like, I have no fucking idea. Like, good luck. I don't know. Like, we'll try this. It's not working. Okay, we'll try something else. You know, like I feel like there was a point where I was just like, we don't have a system of rules. We're just not those people. We're not that dedicated, you know, to like follow a stringent like path to like turn these children into wonderful adults. And as a result, they're just a melange of our like anxieties just like bundle up together, you know?
Yeah. It's really true.
The worst and exciting thing is starting to see those like little reflections of yourself back in them,
Sure.
whatever it might be, right? Like something they do, like when they're just mimicking you, or like just their physiology, like they make a face, you know, that one of the two you made, where you're like, oh, that's cool, and then it hits you very quickly. It's like that's also frightening,
Yeah.
because it's like there's so much stuff I do that I don't realize that I see him and I'm like, why are you lifting your eye? Oh, that's because I do this a lot. I always do like, and I didn't realize I do this, and he is like 24/7. He's like, I'm like, do you want some? He's like.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the hell did you get that? And then you realize, like, you got it from me, Dad. I learned it from you, Dad. I'm like, oh no, he can't even say it, and I can hear it coming out of his voice. I'm like, oh man, this is yeah. It's like you have to be like an iceberg. Like, there's just this like little tip of like, oh, it's cool, man, it's cool, and then underneath it, there's just like crumbling security of every single possible form you can think
Yeah,
of.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
For the listeners at home, Ryan was just like making a shruggy move with his shoulders. It was a little bit like I pictured you like on stage in like some sort of Borscht Belt like resort or something. Yeah. And it was like
right after your
know.
catchphrase.
I don't know.
And he's like, oh, I don't know. And everyone
Yeah, I don't
claps.
know.
Pretend a grown ass bald man with a gray beard was trying to be Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen in Full House. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Oh,
it's not a good
I would watch
sight.
that movie. I would watch that movie with Ryan Summers and Ryan Summers.
Summers. Oh my god. You came so close to the movie pitch I wanted to give you guys after this was all done. I seriously want to cast the two of you in like a TV series. That's so badly that like as soon as you said anything
do it.
relating to Parent Trap, I was like, oh, this is so close.
Oh, really?
Do you want me to do
my
it?
God.
Do you want me to pitch it?
We've got to do. I guess sure. Do we get to green light it on the air? Is this the
I
beginning
mean, you
of
can tell
something?
me if you can tell me if you think it'll go.
Okay, let's see.
But the first question is, like, I've always thought Jeffrey as an amazing writer, talented musician, just like a good ordinary genius.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
a great
you for
ordinary genius.
That. I appreciate
but
that.
I've always thought you would be a great actor. I always thought like you'd be like a perfect on like Curb, like something in that world, like some kind of Seinfeldian, Wes Anderson, something there.
Okay.
So this is done with that in mind. But
Sure.
I think the name of the movie was always like, or I think it's better as a TV show, is Late Stage Middle Age.
Ooh, I love it already.
And I think there's two Jeffreys in this pilot episode, and it starts in the morning where you see one, Jeffrey A, who's like completely like disheveled, couldn't give a fuck about life, going to work, and he works as a focus group host.
Oh my god.
Like,
okay. Love it.
Literally doing nothing meaningful, but he is like a concerto, like a maestro of running focus groups.
Okay.
Like knows how to pull emotion without like kind of pushing anybody into any direction. Like people watch him like, how did you find that out? And he lives in Oakland, right?
Okay.
And then he has another version that looks kind of like him, played by Jeffrey.
Uh-huh.
But he's clean cut, he's dapper, and he runs like a VC fund. They're both the same age. They both have the same birthday. They're basically like twin brothers. You don't know this at the beginning.
Okay.
They go through their days. Doing everything they do. And between each commercial break, you see like in the morning, it's Jeffrey, that's the focus group tester. In the afternoon, you see the one that runs the VC thing. The guy who does like the focus testing is like just a super happy idiot. Right? Like just like couldn't care less about the world, but he's got a job that he can make money. He doesn't give a shit about it, but he's great. The other guy hates his life. He's a VC funded guy. He's wheeling and dealing, has a great car, has a great wife, has a great life, hates it.
Love it. Okay.
They both end up at a club where Jeffrey A is the drummer in a Coldplay cover band called Hot Stop.
I like that Coldplay has come up more in this conversation already.
It's my entire life. Like,
okay.
I think I'm going to be Spotify's #1 fan for Coldplay because I have to sing Parachutes, the entire album, to my son every night to get him to fall asleep.
Let me just let me just interrupt the pitch for a moment to say that we just went on a road trip together and we played a fun game called Coldplay or Christian Rock as we were flipping through the radio stations.
This is turning into an episode in this series.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so he's the drummer. He's the world champion of Hot Stop, the cover band for Coldplay, but it's Hot Stop.
Amazing.
Right?
Okay.
And he's just blissfully doing everything, and you think he's a loser, whatever, but he gets up in the end of the set and he sings "Fix You" to the crowd. And he gets his pick of all the middle-aged women at this cover band.
Okay.
He just does, that's his life. Every day he does a focus test.
Yeah.
Just blinks through his garbage car life, like everything awful, like apartment. And at the end, he takes a beautiful woman home, and waiting for him at 12:01 of his 50th birthday is Jeffrey B. And they both point guns at each other. They say, "Happy birthday," lights out. And what happens is it's a mashup of Groundhog Day because they wake up the next day at the beginning of their 49th year, but they flip.
Ooh.
So the angry one is the happy one is the angry one. They change lives, and they've been doing this for who knows how long. So it's Groundhog's Day meets Face Off meets My Best Friend's Wedding meets Parent Trap.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it.
Can we do it?
I love every second of it. I don't. Where does Brendan fit into this?
So the grand reveal of this at the end of the entire thing is that in all of these scenes, all of these places, he's there. Brendan is in the background. He's the bartender, whatever. And it turns out that he also has a twin, and it's Big Business. You remember the movie from the 80s, Big Business, with
Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler?
And you find out that the whole time Brendan's been going through the same thing. And at the end of it, so it's the end of the next year, and instead of it actually being two Jeffreys switch, the Jeffreys and the Brendan switch, and it crosses for season 2.
Wow.
Cliffhanger.
Wow. This is amazing. So now...
Can we make this? Can we make late stage? Can we at least get money for a pilot? Late stage, middle age?
I mean, I think you just
coming
sold it. I think
it's coming to FX on Hulu.
You're going to be getting a lot of attention after this episode.
Great, good. That's what I hope. That's right. Yeah. Can we do it?
Do you yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Can you copyright this? Can you do something with this to make sure that
I think just by saying it's my idea, it's already copyrighted, right?
Good.
Isn't that how copyright works?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So.
Although we could manipulate the audio and just pretend it's our idea.
I mean, you can't. I can't do it without the two of you, so it doesn't matter.
That's amazing.
It doesn't work if it's not the two of you.
Ryan, I'm not just being facetious. That is a fucking amazing idea for a TV show.
I mean, it's a long pitch, but I think like.
Sure.
It fits like the pilot. It's a pilot, right? Like you could pitch a whole pilot in the room, and what do we do that in like 5 minutes, 6 minutes?
That was good. Sure. Yeah. No,
you just need
you
need a director's deck. We just need some visuals. I just need to mock up you as the two different versions. And then I can Photoshop like Brendan into every one of the shots that we show, and like it's just there.
Amazing. And then you just reveal.
Because you want that reaction.
Yeah.
You want the reaction where somebody's like, but you said the two of them, and it's like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they were.
Right. Yeah. All along. Look in the mirror. Look in the reflection in the mirror.
You need to go back and look at it again. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I just watched Freaky. Have you seen this?
Dude, that I love that, and that was
So
definitely
good.
like on my mind when it was. Yeah, I feel like there's a whole subgenre of like 80s comedy and violent dark horror mashups that we could start. Like I feel like you could do that. Like I want the Gremlins Goonies world mashup. I want those two. I want there to be like a Goonies 2, but the like the thing that they're trying to get ends up being like Stripe or Mowgli. Like you
nice.
end up being that thing. I mean, did you hear they're making a Gremlins prequel
I
about
did.
the guy in the shop who gets Mowgli?
Oh no, I didn't know that was what it was about.
That's supposed, like, if Ghostbusters takes off, everybody's saying that there's just going to be this, just like everything you've ever seen
please.
is getting like a Lego sequel or a prequel.
Oh, I'll take more Gremlins anywhere I can get it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But what we need is the crossovers. The crossovers are when you know the world's about to end.
That's true. Gremlins meets Predator. Oh,
Oh my god! I mean, how do you think predators became them?
That's true.
You're like, if you throw them in the water and you feed them after midnight 2 nights in a row, it grows up to become a predator.
right. Yeah. Exactly. Done. I
mean, they're making triplets. They're making. Did you hear that?
No. What's that?
There's a twins sequel.
DeVito
Oh, really?
and Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
Yeah. No, I forgot who it was. It was who is it?
Paul Rudd.
I can't remember who it is.
Who's like?
No.
Yeah. Who's the middle ground between
No,
Schwarzenegger and
it's
DeVito?
very imaginative. They decided to cast an African American actor. I just can't remember who it
Michael
is
B.
because
Jordan.
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty
No,
great.
yeah, it would be great if it was.
Sure.
But no, Kevin Hart, I'm not sure. I saw it pop up and I didn't see who it was, but I was like, what are they going to do? Are they going to cast like a woman? Are they going to what are they going to do that they think in the 80s would be funny?
Right.
In quotes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's a black guy. That's fun.
Yeah.
I would watch all of these movies. I don't care. We're at we're the nostalgia age now. They're pumping all this stuff out for us.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I mean, I guess
suck it all up.
Yeah, we suck it up, but you know what? I feel like we're acting just like the boomers with everything, with the music. Like, remember when
true.
when we were kids and everything was like 70s music? And
Yeah,
you couldn't get anything other than that for like 3 years?
Yeah, that's true.
What about all
Big
these
Joel
kids that are
soundtrack.
growing up? There's nothing, like when these kids all grow up and become Hollywood executives, there's no, like they literally are just being sped reheated nostalgia.
Yeah.
So is it just going to be all like Fortnite
It's
sequels
memes
for like 10 years?
It's just memes.
And memes?
Every
Yeah.
meme movie is going to be a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The guy turning his head to look at the woman walking by. That's going to be a movie.
Kombucha Girl? Yeah, it's just going to be like Kombucha Girl the movie.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Totally. Can we move into a segment? Would you like to stick with us for an episode of Spike Club, Ryan?
I would. I gave you my Spike Club because no, did I? I don't think I did.
You wrote it down, but our listeners, I think, need to hear it because I thought it was quite a good one.
Okay, yeah. I would love to. That'd be great.
Awesome. All right, let's do some Spike Club.
I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spy Club! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! Spy Club! Fuck!
Spike Club.
Spike Club.
Ryan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'm really bummed that I don't get to hear that Spike Club. I'll have to
The theme
re-listen to
song.
this entire episode
I know
'cause
we pump it in afterwards.
that's-
That would get you pumped up though if you heard it.
Scene
wouldn't
behind
it?
the curtain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since I'm new dad, I feel like
Sure.
I'm just a new dad standing in front of 2 dads, just hoping you guys love me.
Yeah. We're trying.
But for me, I feel like the thing that was the biggest surprise to me, like, you're told all the time you're not going to know what you don't know until you become a dad.
Sure.
Moms know what they don't know because they're moms. It makes sense. They're the ones, carrying the baby. But like, I thought there was going to be a ton of stuff I didn't know. I was scared to hold a kid. I literally never held a baby before.
Yeah. I was
Like
saying
just like all that stuff, right? Like you're like, I'm going to drop him and bounce him like a basketball. None of that stuff happened. Not worried about any of that stuff. But the thing I think that surprised me the most was no one tells you that about like 10 seconds after you cut your baby's umbilical cord. Up until then, you're important. You're like a 50-50 split. You slowly and then quickly turn invisible.
Oh, mhm.
Like
yes.
Yep.
completely.
Oh yeah, you're a roadie.
Yeah, no one told me this. Like literally, like if you go to a party after you have a kid, the only thing that happens, like the moms don't even see you. They don't even know you're there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like guys, like they're gone. The family may just come by and just be like, "Hey, work okay?" Like literally, that's it. Work okay? And that's literally just like, don't lose your goddamn job, you asshole.
Yeah.
And then the dads come by, like and like clink their glasses, like good, okay. And they don't even say bye. They just want to make sure you have a job. And then like the other
Right.
dads just come by, and like just doing like that gut check of like you're sticking around, right? Because
Yeah.
if you run, I'll run. Like all of a sudden it turns into Thelma and Louise very quickly with all the dads. Like that's the only thing they want to know is like, they're like, are you gonna go? Because I'll go. Let's go. And you're like, no, we're not going. Like, we're not going. But like besides
You have
that,
to be
those two
invisible together.
interactions. Yeah, exactly. Besides that, like I literally was like, Judd Apatow needs to make a sequel to 40-Year-Old Virgin, just called Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And it's just Steve Carell has a kid, and then he literally turns transparent. Like he literally he doesn't die. You just can't see him
just
for the
hanging
rest of the
out
movie.
there in the background.
And he's just like trying to figure out like why is no one talking to me? And
That's
it's just
amazing.
no one sees you.
Yeah.
Does that ever change?
Do you know? Well, do you know how to get around that? If you want to be visible, call up another guy friend of yours and go and get coffee with your kids. Two men with kids are a attention magnet.
Really?
Everyone
Really?
will be paying attention to you. Yes.
Now I have to ask though, is this an LA thing? Because coffee
That's
shops
true.
in LA are like a magical wonderland. It's almost like having Disneyland
Yeah.
because so many opportunities. Like
Right.
like that is almost like a weird like flip in the like space time continuum
Yeah.
because it's like all of a sudden you're a screenwriter, or all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're an actor.
And
or
Bill
you're-
Hader's just at the next table for some reason.
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
can't lose
listening
him.
into your conversation because he's going to make a pitch out of whatever's happening in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good tip. I need to try that. Is find another dad with another kid and just see what happens.
Yes.
Sparks fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like a female-dominated place because women are just like,
Yeah.
ooh, the dads are, ooh, dads.
See, but that's
the
another
kids.
LA
Look
thing.
at
That's
those
another LA
amazing
thing though,
dads.
because like
yeah,
that's an LA thing though, because there's a yoga shop legally. There's a zoning district law in LA that you have to be able to have a yoga place to have a coffee shop. So like that's like you can't not have 7 women in spandex
Right.
sweaty
That's true.
next to wherever you go to get coffee.
That's
you
true.
just can't. It's like the fuel that drives Los Angeles.
yeah. I don't vouch for Wisconsin. You're probably just fucked in Wisconsin. You're just gonna
Well, I
be
don't think
invisible
I don't think anyone
forever.
in Wisconsin does yoga. So
No,
that's not
that's
gonna
true.
happen. That's right.
Just
Cheese curds.
I was just going to say that.
Cheese
Cheese
curds.
curd shop.
You
next,
could-
next to the coffee shop.
the cheese curdery.
That's a whole different kind of time and space continuum being exploded.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know. Brendan, do you feel more visible? Do you feel?
Oh, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Once you have reproduced, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And only fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what I hate is that this is not my spite club tonight, but one of my spites in life general, and I feel like Brendan, you and I talk about this quite a bit, is that men our age are so fucking boring.
Oh my God.
Like,
my God.
If,
Yeah.
if I could, like, if there were like if every party I went to, all the dads were just like amazing and hilarious, and I got to and I connected with them on a deep level, I would be like, I wouldn't care if I was invisible. But like, I'm like, I want those guys to be invisible. Like, I don't want to look at them. I don't want
Yes.
to deal with them.
Yes.
I don't want to be in their circle. I'm not you, you know?
There is a boring creep that actually starts to happen. I have felt it start to happen inside my person.
Yeah.
And as this has been reported by my son, that indeed I am the least weird. We
You
talked
are
about
bored.
this last week. The least weird person in the family, which I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, you little fuck? I was the class clown. God damn it! You know
Yeah.
what I
I know
mean?
you were talking to Brendan Hughes.
Yes, exactly. But I do feel like I feel myself getting dull. And I feel, and it's, I'm not, and just there's everyone, people ask me how I am, and then suddenly I'm like, I feel like I'm at an age where I should give an authentic answer. But that is fucking suicide. I can't give an honest answer to how I am. That is how to drive people out of your life.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. There's definitely there's a calcification process that like initiates when you have to be so solely focused on like another creature's
Sure.
like life. That like you think you're interesting, but it just literally it's like a calcification from the inside out. It's like lava, like cooling slowly enough that you don't see it, but everyone else is like, oh, there's no heat there anymore, man. Like you don't have
gone.
it. Like you're about to turn into ash. What's going on?
It's gone. You've poured it all everything that you used to bring to a party, everything I used to bring to a party, or I'd go to a bar and be like, I feel like having some society, so I'm going to go to a bar and talk some, just like charm everybody. All of that, every ounce of it has been poured now into my ungrateful child. And I've poured everything, all of my life force and my energy and my personality into my child, and it's his now, and it's his life to live, and I am an empty vessel.
Yeah.
A husk
Yes. Of a human being.
and trying to be a pandemic husk going to a bar full of like mid 20 something people.
Oh, forget it.
And all their
in a world full
vitality.
of social media. It is literally like you don't have the energy to hang B, you don't look like anyone else, and C,
Right.
you don't even speak the same language anymore. Like, it was already
Yeah.
hard enough before, but when you left for 2 years and then you decide, oh, let's go to a bar, and you walk back in, you're like, it's not even like language. It's like, what's everybody doing? They're not even on their phones. They're doing something else. Like I don't exist on the same plane as these people. Like,
Exactly.
it's just like, I guess I'll go back and just make sure my kid doesn't die.
Totally.
And
that's your
but
only
the worst
silver.
part is also, in addition to everything you just described, you are also making them uncomfortable by being there.
Yes, you
Wow.
know you are. You can feel it.
You can
yeah,
feel
it. Like
it.
radiates off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Summerfest up here, like Lollapalooza in Chicago or whatever else, like everywhere. And my wife's like, oh man, maybe like you got vaccinated. Like maybe you should just go see like a show. Like just go and see one band play. Like you can pick and choose where you want to sit. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe we could do that. And then we went the weekend before that. We finally went out to eat outside, like 2 blocks away from like where Summerfest is held. And the first concert in 2 years in Milwaukee was Foo Fighters, and I didn't know it. And we're all just like looking around, and like we're sitting outside, and all these like, I guess technically my age, but I don't like to admit it, or older, like 55, 60-year-old like white dudes wearing the band shirt to the show are like all walking around. I was like, oh man, who the fuck are these people? Like who? And I was like, I like the Foo Fighters. Like the Foo Fighters, like, formed after I was in high school because Nirvana, fucking imploded and died.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like looking at these people and I'm like, who are they? I don't belong with these people. But then I drove past the Miley Cyrus concert at Summerfest like 3 days later, and I was like, are these space aliens coming down from like above to like
Right.
I'm like, if I don't fit in a world, like I like Miley Cyrus's new album is fucking amazing. Like it's great to see someone like who remembers Joan Jett like make new music, and like the Foo Fighters are technically like my range, right? Like
Sure.
I should be able to like feel comfortable at a show. I'm like, do I belong anywhere?
Yeah.
No.
Like where? Like no. Like it literally is
you
like
do not.
I don't even know where I fit in anymore. It's
No.
really
No.
like
Pickleball.
We are
It's kind
all,
of a-
do you remember in Under the Skin, that movie, that very,
Yes,
very
oh my God,
disturbing
yeah.
movie? The Scottish guy is like, oh my God, I'm going to sleep with Scarlett Johansson. But then he just walks into the black ooze and he just becomes
It just unravels?
a skin balloon.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing. We're all in the black ooze floating skin
Yeah.
balloons, and we can't even find
Sure.
each other to comfort each other because
No,
there's
exactly.
nothing inside of us. We're
all staying up
voids.
at 10 o'clock at night on microphones looking into a mirror, talking
Yeah.
to each other for a podcast
That's
for people
right.
who we don't know to listen to. That's how desperate we
We're
are for connection.
podcasting.
Exactly.
That is, I read someone tweeted the other day that a group of three white men is called a podcast.
And we're living proof.
Yeah.
We're absolutely living proof of it right now.
Exactly.
That's so excellent.
I think
I am so glad you brought up the phenomenon of people wearing the T-shirt, the band
God,
T-shirt
it's the
to
worst.
the concert. What the fuck is wrong with it? People do that in this town too. You go to a Dodgers game, 100% of
Oh, well, that's
people
different.
are wearing the Dodgers.
Yeah.
sports is
yeah.
a little
different.
different, but in LA, that's like the difference between like, are you in the industry or are you just living in LA because somehow you have enough money to live there? Like,
Yeah, there's
you're
a lot
just,
of those.
Like, there aren't sports fans in LA if you're also working in like the industry, right? Like, you only wear your Dodgers stuff if they're about to win the World Series. Like, that's just a rule. Same
Yeah.
thing with the Lakers.
Yeah.
But the band thing, I totally agree on the band thing. Like, somewhere along the way, like, how did that entire like section of like between like 48 and 57 not get the memo that you don't wear the shirt to the concert? You
Sure.
get it
Oh,
afterwards,
yes,
and you wear it
no.
the next day. Wear it the next day to the office to prove you went to it, right? Fine.
yeah.
But like, don't wear it to the concert.
You might
Right.
wear another band's T-shirt that pairs well with this band.
Yeah, there you go.
Nirvana.
There you go.
Yeah.
I saw two 23-year-old kids, a couple, wearing both wearing their Nirvana shirts, going into the Foo Fighters concert. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Applaud you. Like, no problem. Wear a Mudhoney shirt. Fine.
Right,
yeah.
But like, Foo Fighters at a Foo Fighters concert. Like,
Sure.
No.
Fine.
But what's
feel like
even
Dave
worse
would-
is
Dave Grohl would point you out in the middle of the crowd and be like, put a different shirt
Yeah,
on.
yeah, change your shirt, dude. What's even worse is that they're wearing the T-shirt from the first Foo Fighters concert they went to prove that they
totally.
they were there at the beginning, which makes them even more irrelevant.
Because,
dude, I
because
mean-
the Foo Fighters were not the beginning; they were the middle. This is the whole
Exactly.
thing. They
Well,
were
sure,
a
sure.
late kind of like amalgamation of something with Pat
Yeah.
Smear and Dave Grohl. Like they're a side project, and I can't get
Totally.
into it. It feels like. what is the name of the mother? Not Mother Love Bone. The thing that Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder did. They
Temple of Dog.
Temple of the Dog.
Yeah,
it just feels like
Yeah.
Temple of
I'm
the Dog,
going
but they keep having
hungry.
concerts.
Hovercraft. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's a side project when everybody else is too tired and they want to keep. Somebody wants. It's Phil Collins' solo career when Genesis was too tired to keep touring.
Right, exactly.
Like-
I've come around on Phil Collins.
yeah,
though,
no,
have
I
to,
totally-
guess.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He had some sick jams.
People
No,
forget
yeah.
how big Genesis was, man.
Oh, they were huge. There was a period where I think the top 5 spots were either on the charts were either Phil Collins solo, Genesis. I think it was Phil Collins solo, like had 2 songs. Genesis had 1 song. Peter Gabriel had 1 song, and Mike and the Mechanics had 1 song.
You're kidding me.
So all 5 of the top spots were occupied by former members of Genesis. Yeah.
Jesus.
And then
H.
Hall
Christ.
& Oates released an album and took all the spots in 1 week.
Oh, really? Big
No, I'm
Bamboo?
just joking.
Big Bamboo?
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Exactly.
so. Brendan, do you have a Spike Club this
Yes,
week?
I have a Spike Club.
Talk about it.
Legos.
Get pissed.
Fuck those things.
Oh,
fuck
come on.
Legos.
Come on.
No,
I love
fuck.
Legos.
I've had it. I've
They're
had all those
fun.
fucking things.
They're fun.
No, and all the Danish ads in the 70s with the little girl. It's like, your
Oh,
kid's
come
going to be
on.
a scientist. I'm going to work at JPL now because they click these fucking sharp things together.
Yeah.
No. I've fucking had it with those.
But okay,
Do tell.
but Brendan, is your anger at Legos or is your anger at the fact that Legos aren't Legos anymore because everything's associated with an IP? Like I feel
Yeah,
like as
that's-
Legos go,
that's
so does
annoying.
the rest of entertainment. Because there's like you can't find like the space shuttle Lego and the gas station Lego and the cool. You got to get like some kind of crazy like Ninja Go or some kind of like
Right.
there's Harry Potter and DC superheroes and Hello Kitty and you're like, where's just like the astronaut?
Yeah.
Like where's just like the business guy? Like where are those really cool books that didn't have any words that you could learn how to read a story without having to read?
Sure.
Like do you remember that stuff? Like I feel like there's just like I don't feel like the Legos we grew up with even exist anymore.
Oh,
No.
like,
I
certainly
mean, you
not,
can
'cause
get
they're
like
not-
a set of just like random blocks, which we've gotten for
Or
our
just
kids.
pieces, yeah.
But
Yeah.
like all of the sets come with these. Everything's custom now, so it's like you've got
Yeah.
all these pieces that you can't build anything with again, right? Is
Right,
that like,
Right.
Because they're all specialized. They're all these
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
they're a frond, or they're the snake that Yoda puts in his soup. And you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
What is this?
On a
Yeah,
spaceship.
they're individually 3D printed per package. Okay, but here's what I'll say is I feel like I'm the eternal sunshine of this podcast today. But I think if having like IP driven, like unique, bespoke pieces is the price you have to pay to be able to go to a website and build in 3D whatever you want out of whatever kind of Lego pieces I've ever made in history, at whatever color you want, and then literally click a thing and have them send them to your door. Is that worth the price? Because I feel like that's kind of freaking dope.
Is that a thing that
So-
can be done?
I mean, I don't know if it still exists, but I know there was a time because we were looking at working with Lego on a DK project back in the day where
Really?
they did have a website where, like, before I actually pitched this thing, I was able to go on a website and build it in 3D in some little 3D thing, and I could say send to me, and it would give me a price, and it'd be like, okay, you need 72 L-paste bricks
What?
and 15 like 2x1s, and they had the names for all the different individual, and I was like, holy shit! Like if I wanted to build whatever I could think of, Godzilla, or if I wanted to build the house I grew up in, I could.
Wow.
It might cost $7,000 to ship all the pieces, but like, I feel like that's a worthy price to have like another Harry Potter set that's $700.
Okay,
Okay.
that is interesting. I did find something once. Oscar made this really awesome submarine that was very small. It was like a micro machine, and we got on there and we created it in 3D. And then I tried to make the instructions because I figured there must be marketplaces where you're like, build this, buy my instructions or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get that far, but I did build the thing in the 3D space. But I did not see it. But it would make sense if it was like, now send this to me.
I feel like there's got to be a Reddit thread somewhere of people who have made their own bootleg instructions that say, okay, these are the pieces you have to get, and you have to buy these 4 different sets, and you'll have 17 pieces left over, but you can make Garfield.
Right.
Oh, yes.
You know, like
right.
whatever. Like there's something like that. You know, like I feel like I know people do that with IKEA life hacks. Like
Sure.
go to IKEA and buy these 7 different things, and now you can have like a 2-story tall bookshelf, but you're going to have like a half a garbage can full of other stuff in
Right.
the backyard.
I want
Yeah.
like a Monster House Lego set.
Oh
Could
my
we
God,
do that?
yeah.
Oh,
That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Insane.
That's now.
I mean, I would love to do it. I'd love to like make obscure animated movies that no one remembers
Right.
Lego sets.
Yeah. Nausicaa Valley of the Wind Legos.
Oh yeah,
Don't even, please don't invoke Miyazaki because I'm like
the Rats of
We
Nim.
shouldn't-
Perhaps
We shouldn't talk Miyazaki on here.
no. It just I will take over and I will
Okay.
apologize before it.
Has he watched Totoro yet?
No, but you know what's so funny? I can't believe this is like we did not trade notes before this for anybody listening to this, but like literally we live 3 blocks south of like University of Wisconsin Milwaukee, and they must have some kind of cat as like their logo because they have a white bus that goes by every day, and there's like this little Jacksonville Jaguars like cat face, and he screams cat bus at the top of his lungs probably 72 times a day. And my wife's like, oh, that's so cute, he's so imaginative. Like, did you know that there's a thing called a cat bus? She's like, yeah, that thing out the door. And my wife sometimes forgets that she married a nerd because I held it back when we were dating.
You're like, no.
I was like, no. I was like, no, there's a cat bus. And I like got really excited, brought up my phone and I showed it to her. She's like, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. What in the world is that? I'm like, it's literally one of the most highest selling toys / characters ever in the history of Japan. A cat bus. And she's like, that's just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. That's not something for children. So, yeah, I told you, like Miyazaki, it's just gonna.
It's true. He was into some kinky shit.
It's true. It's vaguely Ralph Bakshi. There's like a little bit of little bit of perversity underlying his films.
What about you? Do you have a Spike Club?
My Spike Club is it's sort of related to Ryan's earlier comment just about the invisibility and whatnot. Competence. I'm just fucking sick of people who are competent. Like, just like I'll go out and I'll see these guys and they look good and they've got like decent, they smell nice. They've got good cars and they just look like they're able to do things. They can like build shit.
Jeffrey, like, I think like, are you ad-libbing for the character for late stage middle age? Because I feel like you've nailed that character already. You've got the voice down.
Maybe that's it.
All these guys you're describing were handed all of this.
No, but I mean, some people, like, I'm surrounded by these neighbors who can just build things, like guys who can just make things. Like this guy's like, I need a new gate for my house. I guess I'll just go get some wood and build a gate and like craft it and like sculpt the little things like on the door frame. And I'm like, I can't do shit. I mean, like I can make a loaf of bread or something. I have a couple of skills in the world, but like I feel like there's so many people out there, especially in Los Angeles, who are just so fucking competent, and they're so much more successful than I am. And I just like look at them and I'm like, how do you do things? I don't know how to do things. All I do is I do things of the mind. Like I can tell someone, I can direct someone about where to put a plant on a set. But like that's not anything. Who needs that?
You're a knowledge worker.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, did you say the word knowledge worker, the phrase?
Yeah, I guess that's what
that's
I am.
Brilliant.
I guess I work in knowledge.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
But it's knowledge that no one needs. Like, who needs any of this shit that I create on a daily basis?
Oh, no. It's all derivatives.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
it's all financial. We are the equivalent of financial derivatives.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. We're cogs in a wheel. I'm a cog in a wheel. Ryan, you're not.
I have to.
You can do things.
I definitely am. I mean, I don't make anything tangible. Everything is ephemeral. But I have to go back to the knowledge. I swear to God, I've never heard the phrase knowledge worker, but it's almost as good as I saw a post today, something where Amazon, I forgot the phrase they used. It was great. It was some brilliant thought speak, but it was basically like Amazon is going to become the champion of the middle class worker because they're creating factories next to the places where people are living and they're offering goods. And like somebody was just like either like being really funny and like sneaking in, or was so young that they didn't understand that there used to be a thing called sharecropping or like factory towns. And they basically were positing that like Amazon is going to help revitalize the American middle class economy by essentially letting the company store be the factory.
Right.
And they're like, this is brilliant. This proves that Jeff Bezos is really a humanist. And I was just like, God. You literally just showed like repackaged sharecropping as like a new age way of taking care of humanity. Like, do you realize what you did, or did you just stumble into like that?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
You created the fiefdom. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job,
right,
Bezos.
If you guys I just saw this statistic. If you had made $180,000 a day since the birth of Jesus Christ, you still wouldn't have as much money as he has.
Wow.
I mean, this is one thing I lament, is that math is not like America's strong suit, is that people really don't understand the difference between a million and a billion.
Sure. Right. Exactly.
Right? Like that's just like at the end of the day, whoever made it so that people didn't understand how numbers add up is like the genius who allowed this to happen.
Yeah,
because people just don't understand. Like,
it should have
no
been a
matter how
totally
many different ways
different
you show
word.
it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should have
Like
been
you
different
could
word.
do the same thing. You could put the, like, okay, if you laid a dollar bill next to another dollar bill and you stretched it out and you made $1 million, you could drive from here to here. But if you took Jeff Bezos' wealth, he could actually cover the entire earth 3 times. Like, that still doesn't like
It
hit
means
people
nothing.
into
Right,
like
yeah.
the ridiculousness of it. They're like, well, it's, you know, it's corporate America and it's capitalism. Like, that's what we all want to be able to have, right? And you're
Right.
like, you just don't understand the numbers, man.
Yes.
If you, if 1 million seconds is something like 4 months, and 1 billion seconds is 31 years.
Yeah, yeah, and even if you told that to someone completely sober, awake, they still, like, on average probably be like, yeah, so who cares?
Right.
Right.
Like, how someone needs to work out the equation of like how much would it cost to buy just everything. Like, if you just wanted
Yeah.
one of everything that there is, like, could Bezos
Well,
do that?
you-
And then
Yeah, you see those tweets every once in a while where people are like, Jeff Bezos could end poverty and still have X amount of billions left, and you're like,
Yeah.
what does end poverty even mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
end poverty for 1 second, like okay, poverty for 1 second, and then the next second, half America's poor again. Like,
Yeah.
there's no even way to like quantify like any of it.
Oh,
and at the
true.
same time, like I find myself, my wife is always like, you know, we should stop ordering from Amazon. You know, like, we should really support it. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but like, we also need stuff, and there's
Sure.
nowhere to go right now. And like, and then I would be like, well, why? And she'll respond back like, well, you know, like, you saw what they did with the unions and everything. And I'm like 1,000% a union person. Like, Jeffrey knows, like, I tried to help unionize the visual effects
Sure.
industry when I was first in LA for 4 years. Like, but the amount of like, it's not like the like 50s or 60s where you can't spread information freely or easily on either side of the equation, right? Like, if people can't understand that they're working like whatever it is, crazy amount of hours, and they're timed for how long it takes them to take a piss,
Yeah.
you know, and they get fired for like going to the bathroom too many times. Like, if you can't like get online and be like, what's a union when there's a vote? Like, how much apathy is there in the world to where you can actually like say like that's their fault or it's not their fault?
sure.
Because I dealt with that like in the visual effects industry where people are like highly educated, highly motivated, work their asses off. Their value is right there. You can see the value because you see what happens when a movie comes out and it makes, you know, $400 million in 3 days.
Right.
And
the
that
shop
even that
closes
industry.
the next day.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
That, and it wins an Oscar, and then the
Yeah.
next day that company that made that thing happen disappears overnight.
Yeah.
If you can't get those people to understand what the benefit of a union is, because they are so susceptible to somebody saying, well, do you want someone telling you how much you can make?
Right.
Like, what hope is there in the world? Like, that's not like voodoo economics, and that's not like people trying to tell you what's right or wrong. That's just people just being afraid and not doing anything,
Totally.
like not educating themselves.
Well, and I mean, I think that's where like the hustle mentality to me is like so harmful that's like the new sort of it's they've done a very crafty thing about like making it feel like empowerment, like having no safety net is empowerment. You know?
Yeah. Or not having a boss. That's the thing that still amazes me about like
Sure.
like Uber and all and everything. Like 90% of everybody's jobs right now is like, oh man, it wouldn't be cool to not have a boss.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want a boss.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you want to work for less than minimum wage driving a car for other rich people?
Right.
I mean, I like being in my car. Okay, do you want to not have enough money to cover your gas, so then you have to go to someone else to like actually like pay for your car, and you have to pay them off while you're still struggling to make money?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's no worse than like driving a taxi cab. Or like, okay, we just went in full circle.
Yeah.
Except now you're driving a car you have to take care of instead of somebody else.
Yes.
Like,
would you
yeah.
drive a taxi cab? That's the next question.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
No,
I definitely. I mean, I feel that on a daily basis, and especially like what we're doing right now is sort of, and you know, I'm lucky. I've been lucky to have jobs with like good people who I really love. Like I think like, you know, this company now, Digital Kitchen, the people at the top were not well-meaning, but the people below them, I think, were they were good people who meant well. But right now, like this, just working in this surreal world where I'm engaging, like everything is through the medium of the screen, and I start to feel like, why am I not just mining for gold in Worlds of Warcraft? Like that's what ultimately the product that I'm doing, it's going into a digital place. I'm doing everything. Like all of our shoots have been remote. So I'm doing even that is all through the lens. And then you end up with this digital product that lives in a digital space. And I'm just like, is this real? Am I in a video game?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
No, everything's ed TV, man.
Yeah.
If you combine ed TV and lawnmower, man, that's like the world we live in right now. Like everything is literally flat and ephemeral.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, like who knows for how long, like is this I hate the new normal, but is this like the next normal where people are just like, you know what? 30% of the country are going to pretend like it's not happening. Another 30% of the people are going to just try to struggle through it. And then the whatever's left is just gonna be like, oh, cool, I'm making money on the back of everyone else.
Sure.
Like,
well,
how long does that go till some other big change happens?
Oh, for sure. I mean, businesses are going to do some serious cost benefit analysis of how much they've saved on air conditioning, and that's going to determine what the fate of the world is.
Well, I mean, in our world, Jeff, like that's already happened so fast, right? Like,
Oh, sure.
I just posted about this today. Like, I feel like the LA creative brain drain is in full effect in the sense that like I've only been gone from LA, I think, for like 3.5, 4 years, and literally, I tried to count it down. Like half the people I knew and worked with either moved to Austin or moved back home where their parents live. And
wow.
Like at some point there is a threshold where like whatever it was that made LA the epicenter of this, there's just not enough people congregating for it to like have at least the same speed of like Silicon Valley because everyone's there and you have advancements because of that. Does it mean other stuff happens other places? Of course. But like at that same time, it's like everything we do is like completely, I won't say useless, but it's completely like throwaway.
Yeah.
Like
it's
tangential when you don't have anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, sometimes you make work that at least has meaning because you have a shared experience, right? Like
sure.
When we get to sit on set together and we make it through a challenge because it was a hard day and something happened we didn't expect, but we did it together. Yeah. That at least it generates something meaningful, right? There's a meaningful resonance that continues, with the relationship and the work you have, and you're on a podcast with someone 6 years later from the last time you saw them.
Sure.
Like that stuff. But when everything is literally like you have your hands inside of a robot that has its hand inside of a glass thing, playing with like the nuclear bomb, like if that's everyday, like your everyday existence for years, like what is it that what are we really doing?
I know. I know. Yes. That is exactly the thought that goes through my head each and every day when I walk from my bedroom through the shared bathroom into my office, and now I'm at work, and my brain space is just suddenly boom, I'm in workspace now. I
mean, it really hit me really hard when I realized how excited I was when there was a new feature in Slack. Like,
yes,
it was like my birthday and graduation day at the same time. I was like, oh, you know what? I literally ran to my wife. I was like, you know what I can do now? I can schedule messages in Slack. So if if I need to tell somebody something tomorrow, I can do it now. Like. That's the height of my like existence right now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. That's the most exciting thing that will happen to you all week. The new Slack.
I mean, it definitely is like, it's really weird. Like I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was like a Apple Day, like new Apple thing day.
Sure.
But it was also, there was a new Canon camera. GoPro announced something. The tools we use, like Max on Adobe, announced something. It was just all this like stuff. And it was just like so exciting. It was just like, this is like the Cubs won the World Series. Oh my God, there's some new software. Like it just like everything's just twisted in a way that just doesn't.
Sure.
It's weird how fast this stuff got normalized.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like we don't even think about it. Like we don't even think like there's anything wrong with it.
No.
Oh, and masks too. I mean, everything. The way the world adapted very quickly to there being a pandemic made me realize that it will never be like the movies. We will always just be like, oh, okay, got it. About whatever it is, a mushroom cloud. Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
okay? Cool. I should stay inside for 3 years. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But are you tacitly endorsing anti-masking, Brendan?
I mean, I don't know about the no, definitely
I just have
not.
questions. What's wrong with asking questions?
But suddenly, the we of the world, I guess. I mean, because these guys, those other guys who aren't wearing the masks, maybe we could all tear a page from how tough and awesome they are for being such free thinkers. But we were.
If we could all just be a little bit more Joe Rogan.
Just
exactly. Be a little more Rogan.
Exactly. But it is fascinating the way we were like, oh, okay, everything's shut down. So
yeah.
got it. 10-4.
So do you think if this would have happened like pre-iPhone, like the internet's still around, but like pre-iPhone, where you can essentially anywhere at any time just go into self-isolation, do you think, like you can have your phone anywhere. You can literally put a bubble of protection around yourself. Like if you put your headphones in and you have your iPhone on, that's just the signal of the world, like leave me the fuck alone. Right. And everybody, it's weird how that has become the social contract. Like no one questions that. Like if you're on the bus, you don't bother someone. If someone's walking, you don't say anything to them. Like if that didn't exist, if COVID at the level of like whatever it is, damage it's doing now, do you think we would be anywhere near that? Like, oh yeah, 600,000 people died. Okay. Like that number, I just read somewhere. I don't know if this is true or not, but right before we went on, I saw something where it said, as of today, 1 in 500 people in America have died from COVID.
Yes, I saw that.
So don't like fact check me on that. But like, if that's true, like I remember at the very beginning, this is like, I was always like saying to everybody, I was like, just wait until more people have died from COVID than 9/11. That's going to be the time everybody takes it seriously. Because it's like that, look how much stuff we gave up and changed in our lifetime because of 9/11. Right. And this is 650,000 people. And we're all just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to change.
That happens.
Like that is in 20 years, that societal change. Like the way the world changed from like JFK to like the 80s, we did in less than 20 years, probably more.
Sure.
Like societal change in America. Like that's mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wish I had an explanation. I feel like there's definitely a part of it is the social media aspect that like, first of all, it's just like, there's just too much. Like our brains aren't meant to process everything that's happened. I mean, I think about this all the time, like pandemic, even fucking like that like cut short our ability to mourn the hell that we went through for the 4 years of Donald Trump, you know, like we still haven't had a reckoning with that. Like, I'm not even talking about January 6th. Like, you know, his first year was a fucking trauma-inducing disaster, you know? And, like, that's all just been, like, we'll never be able to mourn that. Like, that's past. That time is past because now we're just in eternal sort of mourning.
Right. Life is a daily sledgehammer to the nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, how... I mean, it's. I'm sure it's the same impulse that, like, makes you discount Jeff Bezos' billions. It's like, we can't handle big numbers. We can't... You know,
I have too. Yeah, everyone is walking around being like, "I'm just trying to manage my trauma. I have no time to react to what's actually happening in the world."
Or just process or talk to someone.
Sure,
But simultaneously, like we're so isolated by like everything we see that like everyone out there in the media universe is. I mean, it's sort of just going on as normal, you know? It's just like the TV shows are all there, like the news shows are all there, like everyone's having the same arguments. So it's like hard to feel. I mean, I think when we first went into like quarantine and there was no shoots, everything was weird on TV for like a month or so, you know? And it was like, well, like Parks and Rec, like speaking to each other on Zoom. Like that was when I was like, oh, this is weird. This is really fucking weird. Like what's happening? What, you know, dystopia are we going through? But now we've integrated all of this into just to our normal way of being.
Yeah.
And now this is just normal, but we're all like the baseline level is trauma. The baseline level is depression. You know, that's just sort of like the yardstick by which we're all walking through life now.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it? I mean, do you guys encounter this at all? Isn't it weird if you actually like encounter someone who you see looks like they're happy? like legitimately just purely happy. That's not like a small child.
I think they must be really stupid.
They're either stupid or you have an anger at them. It's like, well, why do you get to wait? Why are you okay with this?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I actually go through that like with my wife. My wife feels things like so acutely and so intensely that like, you know, she could read Huffington Post for half an hour and come back and be like, do you know how fucked the world is? And there'll be times where I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And like, I will feel guilty for like, but you know, like I got a 2-year-old kid. I got to keep going. I got a job. I got to keep, but like, then I'll feel like at the end of the day, she'll go to sleep and I'm doing 4th shift. And I'm like, oh man, I feel really bad for like, that's my defense mechanism is like, I can choose to be happy or not, but I feel guilty for it. Like, I'm like, is it okay? Is it okay to just feel okay? Like, probably not. There's probably something wrong with me that I'm like, I can find a way to make it through every day, not pissed off at the entire world, you know, imploding on itself.
This is Weltschmerz. Do you know that word?
No.
It's German for world pain.
World pain. That's a really good word. That feels very Neon Genesis Evangelion to me when you say that. No one else knows what that means.
I know. I know of it. I can't say I've seen it.
It's a very interesting, very heart-wrenching anime
Yes,
that just got
and they just came
re-released
out
on
with a new.
Amazon.
Didn't they just come out with a new episode?
Yeah,
Or it's a
Yeah, the show was so difficult to make that in the I believe mid '90s, the show creator actually almost killed himself trying to figure out how to end it.
Wow.
And then 20 years later, he felt good enough to try to recreate it to stick the landing. And as he tried to make the final episode, he almost killed himself again.
Oh,
and it took him
Jesus.
10 years to make it. So it feels very much like whatever word you just said feels very empathetic to I totally get that.
Yeah. I was thinking of another famous German memory of ours called "The Day the Clown Cried." Do you guys know this movie?
God. Yes, the Never Seen.
The Never Seen
exactly.
Jerry Lewis movie. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the clown in
concentration-
Auschwitz,
yeah,
right?
he's a clown at Auschwitz. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of like watching Blippi. Do you guys know about Blippi?
Oh, tell me about.
No, you haven't heard about Blippi.
That sounds familiar.
So-
What's Blippi?
So this is definitely a new dad thing that you guys haven't encountered. So
that's
YouTube,
the
there's-
clown. No, Ryan. Let me
He's
tell you
technically
something.
Not a cloud.
Okay. Let me tell you something.
But I'm not defending him, by the way, for anybody that hears this.
No, we have this friend, Bill Watterson, he directed a movie called, what was his movie?
Dave Made a Maze.
Dave Made a Maze, where it's like all cardboard sets. It's
Oh
quite
yeah. I didn't know
spectacular.
that's who his name. Well, you
Yeah,
also
yeah.
said Bill Watterson, and that's the name of the guy who made Calvin
Yes.
and Hobbes, and I almost leapt through the screen to strangle
No,
you.
sorry,
if you knew him.
different Bill Watterson.
Okay, it's Bill Watterson the second.
I'm
In fact,
sure he
this,
gets that
this
all the
Bill
time.
Watterson's handle on Instagram is not that Bill Watterson.
Yeah, but this is tying back into your acting thing.
Yeah.
Bill Watterson was consulting for this Blippi. I'd never heard of
gotta
it
be kidding
before, and he wrote me and he said, "Have you ever acted before? Because we need a new Blippi, and I think you could be a good Blippi."
No way. You've got to be kidding.
No.
Oh my God, dude. You should have done it because this dude, okay, I can give you a little bit of backstory on
Yeah,
Blippi. So there's this ex-military
Amazing.
guy, but he's not like a buff guy, but this ex-military guy who has been from my understanding, desperately trying to become a successful YouTube, whatever you want to call it, content creator, influencer, whatever.
Yeah.
And he used to make all kinds of wacky, jackass kind of just stunt gag stuff, to the point that he actually filmed himself shitting on one of his friends
Jesus.
and put it on a YouTube video. Fast forward 3 years, he is now essentially being called the new Pee-wee meets Mr. Rogers.
Oh my God.
He puts up a YouTube video of him basically wearing orange and blue and kind of doing some goofy ass dances and being like, "This is a tractor," and for 10 to 15 minutes a piece, but he's putting out a new piece of content every day.
Okay.
Every good YouTube creator, right?
Yeah.
And he's getting millions of views for the last several years, to the point where he actually puts on a live show. You can go to the United Center or Staples Center and see Blippi on stage.
Yeah.
But it's all it's this kind of rags to riches American success story, in the sense that it's just a dude. This dude just came up with this
Whoa.
thinly veiled character, this kind of character that's barely a character. It's just a costume.
Right.
And he talks in a weird voice and he goes "Do you want to see a monster truck?" And then he runs around and drives a monster truck or a tractor or goes to a kid's museum or whatever it is. But he's been doing it for years. And then there's this massive controversy because for some reason he couldn't do the live show. He had to keep on making videos, and he goes all over the country. So he hires another Blippi to do the live show.
So that could have been me. I could have been the live Blippi.
Jeffrey Dinsmore could have been the live Blippi.
Wow.
But you almost, the dude's making tons of money, but you almost dodged a bullet because there were literal protests and
Oh my gosh.
shut down and cancel Blippi because the guy who is Blippi promised that he would be doing meet and greets and autograph signings, and you could get VIP tickets during this live thing. But then when people got there, it wasn't him.
Oh,
it was
no.
some other guy. So people were going to the show, and you, Jeffrey Dinsmore, would have been on stage in the Blippi clown costume, and people would have been booing you,
Right.
Because they wanted to see Blippi and you weren't Blippi.
Oh, what a nightmare. Oh, I dodged a
my
huge
God.
bullet. Oh my God.
Yeah. Although it probably would have been a very lucrative bullet.
Yeah, it would have been, and it would have been a great episode of the TV show.
Oh my God! Oh, that's that's episode 7 in the 8-episode arc.
Exactly. Amazing. Wow. I feel like on that note, should we say goodnight?
Oh, I think we can say goodnight. Ryan, Jesus Christ, you're
That
such
was
a
awesome.
gift.
That was awesome. Yeah. We'd love.
Thank you so
can we
much.
have you on again to do the baby report?
Dude, I would love. I need some dads to help me through
Yes,
this, please.
we are happy to. Okay.
Great work, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Good night.